Alright, so next we are going to figure out what these materials are, how to adjust them inside of Twinmotion. Like I said, most of the time they're going to be done inside of Revit. So Revit does a pretty good job at material mapping, and not perfect. Twinmotion does a pretty good job as well. Well, let's get into it. So the first thing we want to do is see if this material exists inside of our material library. Katie and a group of others are going to be running our material library from here on out. So if you have any questions about the material library, please give her a shout. I believe that is Katie, Callie, Max, and Corwin. Sorry if I missed anybody there, but I believe those are the four that you can contact. If the material library exists, we can add it and drag it and drop it onto the surface, which is nice. That's real easy to do. I'll show you that. I believe I already did show that in a previous video, but I'll show it again right here. So let's just say we want to change this brick because it doesn't have the texture that we wanted. Maybe it's not the look that we want, so we just drag and drop. And then the scale, for some reason, is always off on mine. I'm going to adjust that by 10. And it'll look a little bit better. Now we can actually start seeing the depth of this thing. It gets really nice looking. Alright, we can even go higher than that. So if we need to adjust this higher than 10, you just type it in 15. We'll adjust from there. You can also adjust things like reflection, make it shiny or less shiny. All of these also have more on them, so you can open further into this and you can start doing rotations, getting crazy with it. You can change the axes, so I can move this if I didn't want that in that specific location. I can adjust the left, right. I can also adjust it up, down. I can stretch it. Stretch it here. I'm going to go back to this. I can tint the color. So this is where I get into mapping. To create a map is pretty complicated. Oops. To create a map is pretty complicated. You can create one. Follow this link. It'll show you how to create one on YouTube. I'm not going to go through it right now because it does take a lot of time. You have to find like a seamless texture material and do a bunch of stuff with it, create a bump map, all that kind of good stuff. There's also a free app that we can use called Materialize. Max is really good at this, so if you have any questions about Materialize, please contact Max Driftmeyer. He'll be able to help you out with that. And then the third option, we can also just download some maps from a website. I have a few. Mine are Architectures, Polygon, 3D Textures, SketchUp Texture Club. There's a ton of them online. Some of them are paid, some of them are free. You can also get maps like that. When you get the maps, you're going to be going in to this texture right here. So I can actually go back one step. So color, we can change the color of this brick. Let's say I want it to be pink or purple or green. You do it whatever, and you can see it changing behind me. Let's say I wanted to go into So I went to the more settings. This is the texture map here. You can also create more bump maps, stuff like that. To create the texture, or to change the texture rather, you click on that little button, then you go and hit open, and you can go open that texture map. Then you could also create an opacity mask, more luminosity to where it's darker or brighter against the sun. Or you can make it dirty. I don't know why you'd want to make it dirty, but you can make it dirty. If you want to get really involved with it, you could change the sound of concrete. You can actually walk on some of this stuff. You go up to this eyelid right here, and you can switch it to walking mode, pedestrian mode is what they call it. You can actually change what sound it sounds like they're walking on, which is kind of cool. Kind of gimmicky, but kind of cool. Furthermore, I can go into settings. I can change this bump map. This is where you'll adjust your bump map here. This is how you get your material to actually stick out in the model a little bit so it doesn't read as flat. So read into that a little bit. adjust to 100%. There's a lot of good videos online about how to do this. I am definitely no material expert. I've done it before in the past. It takes a long time to get it right. But once you do get it right, and you want to save this material, all you have to do is right-click on the material itself and hit Add User Library. And then that'll add it to the user library that we talked about in the previous video. If you did not see that video, I'd recommend going back and checking out how to use the user library. Go back to our outline here. So let's say we don't know where that material is. Let's say, for instance, I want to change the mullions. The mullions look a little tan. I want them to be black. So I hit T, which also is this button down here. The shortcut is just T, Material Picker. And then I can click on that, and it will bring up the material. And then from here, I can actually change the color of this stuff. Maybe I want to drop it down to black. Hit OK, and you're good to go. It'll change all of those existing materials. Back. All right, we went through all of that. Another thing we could do here is open up the material library from this section here. This is the materials that are used inside of ours, and we can actually just create one from scratch if we want to. And also right-click and duplicate this material and adjust it. That's another way we can go about it. Or we can just, like I said, create from scratch and go from it like that. Alright, like I said, there's a lot of videos online. I have a few links that are really good that talk about how to create materials inside of Twinmotion, how to manipulate them to be the best materials ever. I mean, you could even do some crazy stuff like do some transparencies. This is reflective. This one's got a great bump map. Make them dirty. The options are endless. So I probably could have made this video 30 minutes long. I'm going to cut it short right now. That's it. I'll see you in the next video.